What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome to episode 56 of the Rise to Glory here with Gibraltar Apex. And today I have you guys a special episode. But if you didn't watch last episode, go watch it. There's a reason I'm starting on this screen. It's because I don't want to give away any spoilers. Go to the last episode, go watch it. By far the best episode of this series so far. And hopefully, well, we can continue on in a similar vein of form. Today, we have a massive game. We're playing away from home against PSG in the Champions League group stage. In terms of the fixtures, since the last episode, there has only been one game to tell you guys about. It was a 4-0 win against Gibraltar Lions in the Pepe Reyes Cup. So we're going to get straight into today's game. Looking at the team that we have at our disposal, well, we don't have too bad of a team, really. Our team is going to look fairly strong here. We've got a few players not registered for the competition, including Barry O'Connor and Juan Manuel Perez. I feel a little bit bad not registering Perez, but well, it had to be done. I mean, it didn't have to be done, but it was done. I'm sorry. Maybe next time, Perez. I'm just sorting out our bench here because we actually have the ability to have 2 more players on the bench. So, I mean, we are going to make the most of that. Of course, we can have 7 players on the bench in Europe, and well, 7 players is exactly what we are going to have. I think we're going to go with this as our bench. Fairly strong, good strength all around, although we don't have a backup striker then. Mark Stewart, who twisted his ankle, he's now twisted his knee as well. Our record transfer, I mean, I don't want to say he's a flop, but I mean, he's twisted an ankle, now he's twisted his knee. I'm hoping this isn't going to be an ongoing thing, and he is going to be fit, and he is going to play a lot of games for us. But he's not the best start to his time at the club. As a result, we are a little bit short of a striker. I think I'm going to give Ben Connolly the nod, give him the opportunity here. So this is the team we're going to go with. We're going to drop a goalkeeper from our team altogether. In terms of our team, pretty strong all in all. In goal, we go with Romero, the American goalkeeper. Had a little bit of a howler in the first qualifying game against Dynamo Zagreb. Hopefully he can bounce back as he did last game for us today. At left back, we go with Jay Marriott, the young American. At right back, we go with Evans, another American. And actually, of our back 5, including the goalkeeper, 4 of them are Yanks. So my American viewers, you are being well represented in this save at the moment. Danny Evans, the right back here, quite a good player. Not amazing going forward, but defensively extremely good. The other American we have is Alan Medina, 18 years old. Really good leadership, this guy. He's not the craziest player in the world. He has some potential to potentially, I guess, reach. He's just a very good defender, though. Good physically. Perhaps defensively, and particularly his technicals, they could be a little bit better, but nevertheless, he's a good player for us. We then have Lerato Maloi, the South African. This guy, he still has a release clause of £500 in his contract. And I hate that. I want to get rid of it. But he doesn't want to talk to me about a new contract. It's heartbreaking. I really hope we can keep hold of him and that we're not going to lose him on a tiny fee. Because the 20-year-old South African has really developed since joining the club. Just last year, made 8 appearances in the league. Hopefully he can have a good influencing performance on us today. Our midfield 4 is kind of standard. We go with Paul Smith, the young Australian, out on the left. A player who really has made an impact since joining the club. Scored 4 goals in our 6 continental games so far. He's been a great player for us, this guy. I mean, looking at him, very good winger. Not the fastest player in the world, but good mentals, good physicals, good speed, good technicals. Looking at his report, he's a consistent performer. Struggles in the air, but he could improve a lot in the future. You know, he's a good player for us. I'm very happy to have him in the team, and I think he does make a difference out on the left. At right mid for this game, we go with Gimo Lorenko II, a player who really last year was a key player for us. He was probably our best player. He got 16 goals and 13 assists in the league. He contributed a little bit in Europe, although he did have a few injuries. He played 8 games, got 2 assists and a goal. He's a very good player, perhaps not quite as good as he was last year. Kind of last year, he was the best player in the team by a little bit of a margin. This year, I kind of have him there as maybe 3rd or 4th best in the team. There's a few players that have kind of eclipsed him. One of which I think is Kundai Benyu, the centre mid, the Zimbabwean. We signed him from Ipswich. A very good player, this guy. Going to be playing the defensive midfield role for us here. Looking at him, current international with loads of experience. Star player for our league, good stamina. He's in some good form as well, and he's fairly athletic. Just a really nice centre mid to have. And alongside him, we have Gary, the one and only. And this guy, he's improving. He is improving a lot. I was actually looking at some of his changes here because it's something I like to do. A lot of his stats have improved by 0.6. I say a lot. Mostly his anticipation and stamina. They improved by 0.6 in a month. Now, granted, they had it improved prior to that in, well, a long, long time. Hopefully he can continue to develop, though. I kind of like it when you have a young player like this guy at the club for a while. And you can kind of just tick on a load of different kind of points and just see how he's developed over time. I mean, he's been a steady improver. He's never really rocketed up. You can see he did have a 0.6 improvement in positioning and composure in the same month a little while ago. In fact, yeah, it was a 0.6. I thought it was a 0.8 improvement for a second, but that would be ludicrous. So he's been a kind of a player who's steadily improved. He had another really good month in training, so we are playing him today ahead of Bouchard, the Canadian. He didn't leave us in the summer. Gary did want to go. He was kind of desperate to leave, if I'm honest, but we've held on to him through the transfer window. The Spanish clubs, most of them at least, have lost interest, so we keep hold of him. And then up front for today's game, we go with Kuka and Jackson. Kuka, the Canadian international, only at under 21s unfortunately for him, but a very good player. He's kind of playing at his potential at a very young age of 19, but he is a fan favourite. He's a player who's a good backup striker to have, and with Stewart injured, he slots straight into our team. The other player we have is Sean Jackson. This guy, well, he's had a baptism of fire at the club. He really has made a difference. You can see playing for Albertson SC in the USA, he's done well. You know, he's got 15 or more goals in the league every single year for them, and you can see here in 2022, well, he joined us halfway through the year and he already had 15 goals in 17 games. I wasn't sure quite how well he was going to kind of adapt into our team, but he's got 7 goals in 5 continental games, and he did also get a goal in that game against Gibraltar Lions. So he's performed very, very well since coming into the club. Hopefully that can continue. On the bench, we have the Gibraltarian Ben Connolly, a player who's been at the club a long, long time. Obviously scored 2 important goals for us against Zagreb in the first leg. He has quite a good little history at the club, scrolling through what he's achieved at the club. Yeah, he's not done too bad, this lad. If we just look at his, I think, is it? Oh, it's here, isn't it? It's history, achievements. Then we look at his biography. If you want to pause it and have a look, you can see what he's achieved so far. But it's fair to say, he's done pretty well, this guy. He's won a lot of stuff with Gibraltar Apex, and hopefully that can continue. Anyway, other players we have on the bench, we'll go through these ones a little bit quicker. Melvin Thomas, the Canadian, played left back for us against Zagreb in that second or first, I think it was the second leg he played left back for us. Played fairly well in that game. We then have Glenn Gilbert, a left back on the bench. Glenn, of course, I believe he's the club record league appearance maker. I might be wrong there, but he has played 138 games and got 56 assists in the league. Not too shabby for a left back. We then have Joe Bouchard, the young Canadian, a player who has absolutely bags of potential, makes good decisions, which is incredible to have at a young age. Professional individual, you know, he's kind of switched on. He works hard in training. He does a job for us, and he's improving as well, which is good because he's only 18. I think he does have quite a bit of potential to hopefully fulfill, as is I kind of do think we do in the rest of our squad as well. So I'm hoping he can play well for us. We then have Eric Ongeles, a player who I did contemplate selling at one point. Not managed to get rid of him, so we keep him in the side at least for now. He's a good player though. Contract does run up at the end of the year. He's on quite a lot of money for a player who isn't really in the first team, and so he's a player who might leave in due time. But for now, he occupies a spot on the bench. Last 2 players, both centre mids. Nicholas Mohammed, the Ghanaian under-21 international. Very good player for us. Of course, joined us on a free last year. Had a pretty good start to the year. Hasn't featured too much in Europe as of yet, but he gets a chance on the bench today to potentially come on and make things happen. And then last but not least, we have Manuel Cruz, 18-year-old defensive kind of American centre mid. Good player, you know, fairly balanced. He can improve a slight amount in the future. Professional again. One thing that I've worked hard on, particularly since we've gone pro, is sorting out the personality of our team. When I was first here, you guys might remember I mentioned it a few times, but because we had a lot of players with low determination, it meant we had all these youngsters coming in with high determination, and because of the atmosphere in the dressing room and the more senior players being not very determined, it kind of rubbed off on them. Fortunately, if we just quickly flick through the team here with quick flicks and you keep an eye on the determination stat, for the most part, we have a pretty determined squad now. You know, I've tried to drill in some determination into the dressing room. I've tried to turn things around. We do have some pretty determined players here, and I'm hoping they can make a difference for us, and I think it has made a difference so far, and I think that's been evident, of course, in the progress we've made in Europe this year, reaching the Champions League for the first time. So anyway, let's get into today's game. We are going to be taking on PSG. I mean, it's the biggest game in the club's history in terms of the calibre of the opposition we're playing. If we're being 100% honest, no expectation in this game. PSG are like absolutely terrifying. Looking at their team, they've got Royer, the striker, a French regen who looks, wow, okay, I did not know about this guy. He looks pretty good, this guy. A little bit scared. Out on the right, they've got Coman, who is kind of Pogba Jr. He does look like Pogba. And so does Charlie Musonda, actually. I saw that on the R Football Manager games a while ago. He's actually been signed for £48 million as Coman. Not a bad transfer fee to pay by PSG. Valencia, I'm sure, are delighted with that. They've got Malcolm, the Brazilian, out on the left wing again. Incredibly talented player. In centre attacking mid, they've got Jose Maria, Brazilian regen, who looks incredible. Centre mids, they've got Verratti and William Carvalho, two actual real players as opposed to regens. And then their back four is made up of Rulli, the Canadian... where am I getting Canada from? He's Argentinian, Jack. They've also got Emre Can, Marquinhos, this guy Uribe, I assume he's a regen. He is Peruvian regen. He looks absolutely insane. Not often you see an insane Peruvian regen. We've got one right there. And at left back, they've got Machado, who is an Argentine who looks very good again. Again, I mean, going into this game, am I expecting anything? No, I'm not. I'm expecting us to get slaughtered. PSG, just looking at that squad, I'm sure you guys can appreciate. That's a very strong squad in Football Manager terms. That's a ludicrously strong squad. I do believe, based off coefficient, PSG were ranked second highest in this competition. I think only Manchester United had a higher coefficient. So, this is one of the biggest teams we could ever play in this save. One of the biggest teams in the world, PSG. We're going to go out there and have some fun. We'll see what we can do. No expectation, though. Yeah, I mean, what is there to say? I expect us to get pounded here. I expect this to be a lesson. I expect us to get beat into a bloody pulp. And it begins with Royer scoring after a minute. It's worth noting, of course, this is our first year in the Champions League. Just for reaching the Champions League, I believe we received £8 million in prize money. I believe we get another 10 or so million in TV money at the end of the European kind of campaign, assuming we go out in the group stage, which I think, if we're being honest, is fairly likely. But that's seriously good money to get, you know, almost 20 million in a year. That's going to be money that can be reinvested into the side. And hopefully, you know, we can continue from this year onwards to continue kind of to push for Champions League group stage kind of, I guess, placement. And then just stack up some money, build up the league rep. Just their appearing in the Champions League this year, it's going to do the team just absolute wonders. Our reputation is going to go up significantly from appearing in games like this, even if we get thumped. With that increased rep, you know, we'll sign new players. Those new players come in and also raise the club rep, because the better players you sign, you know, the more your club is respected in global football. And that's something we are going to try and press on with. But right now, right here, we need to defend. We're already 2-0 down. PSG bringing the football forward again. It's not looking very good for us, is it? Verratti edged the box. Marquinhos, it's like they're toying with us. Cleared away, but Verratti with the ball. Now with Carvalho. Jose Maria. Carvalho. I mean, they're just playing with us. It's like a cat who's caught a mouse, and we are the mouse. And right now, we are being swallowed whole. Alexander Royer, he's just scored a hat-trick in 15 minutes. I mean, I'm live commenting this game because I see it as a landmark that's worth celebrating. You know, we're not going to take on PSG every year. We might not get to the Champions League group stage again for a few years. So I'd like to embrace every moment of it I can. Of course, the dream is that we continue to reach this stage and that we do it consistently and that we don't regress like we did a few years ago, where we got to Zagreb in the playoff game and lost, and then the next year we didn't even make the Champions League playoff match. Fortunately, of course, on that occasion, we did still scrape in for the Europa League. This is not looking great, is it? It's 4-0. Do I just switch to 4-4-2 attack and see what we can do? I think I do. I think we do. I think we've tried playing on the counter. We've tried playing defensively. The bottom line is that, well, PSG have one of the most ludicrous squads I've ever seen in FM, if I'm honest, in this save. It's not going to be very easy for us. We are going to get beaten badly here. And I'm just going to grit my teeth, smile, chuckle, try and enjoy the occasion. I mean, it's 5-0 now. Maybe I'm going to turn off the highlights because it's getting a little bit embarrassing. Let's turn these off, and I'm going to switch to close camera only for you guys who love 3D to watch the goals. So you get to at least see the goals once in 3D. Let's not make it 6 before half-time. I know they've got an insane squad, but come on, boys. I mean, Roy has scored again. It's not looking great, is it? Can we have a moment's silence for the Gibraltar Apex squad who's played today? Can someone light a candle? Somewhere in a dark room is Jack Peachman, who didn't get the nod ahead of this game, the veteran striker, the legend at the club, and he is sat in a dimly lit room in Gibraltar with a single solitary candle lit, and he's watching this game on a tiny little TV in an empty room, and he's got like a wooden kitchen chair, you know, like a really uncomfortable one. and he's sat there tied up, and there's just a solitary tear running down his cheek as he watches what he's watching today. It's been a lesson. It's been a lesson. We'll leave it there. I mean, PSG have got 2 clear-cut chances. They've scored 6 goals. Perhaps we're a tad unlucky. I mean, the aim's got to be to try and score 1, I guess, at this point. But, I mean, that's not looking likely. This is also wrecking our goal difference. A goal difference that, well, in Europe in the past, particularly in the Europa League, hasn't actually ever been awful. I think that's going to be forgotten about here. We are going to get slaughtered in a lot of our games. Benyu, big ball up. Marriott, can you whip in the ball? Smith, back post. Lorenko, we scored! We scored a goal at PSG. I mean, that's something, right? Light 2 candles. Get 2 candles up. The comeback's on. The dream, I believe. I still believe. I don't believe anymore. Don't believe anymore. Has he just scored a second hat-trick, or is that his 5th? I've lost count. When you lose count of how many goals an opposition player scored, generally not a bad day at the office. Or not a bad day, not a good day. Not a good day. It's definitely a bad day at the office. I feel like I should make some subs here. I mean, some of our players have already been booked. I'd rather not have anyone sent off, but our options are slightly limited. I guess we'll give Ben Connolly the nod. Give him a chance. And let's bring on Glenn Gilbert. Give Glenn a chance. I mean, yeah. I kind of knew this might happen. It's just disappointing that it's 7. I mean, if we score again, then we've basically won the second half. That's the way I'm going to look at things. In fact, yeah, we would have won the second half. Right, let's try and win the second half. That's the new goal in this game, although PSG bringing the ball forward. We've got it, though. Cleared up. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Stop him. Stop it. Stop Royer. Don't let him get a double hat-trick. That's all I ask. They've hit the crossbar with a cross. Never seen that happen in FM ever before. Ever. Most definitely never. Maria had a chance there and missed it. There's 15 minutes left. If it finishes 1-1 in the second half, I'll take it. Great performance as far as I'm concerned. I mean, now we're going to concede, aren't we? The game's not even going to let me have that as kind of a silver lining to all of this. Lorenko, please don't get sent off. Malcolm, cleared away. What a clearance. We're going to win the second half. Counter, run. Oh, he's not running. He's not running for it. It was a terrible ball by Kuka. I mean, it's only 7 at least, I guess. I mean, that's a silver lining. If we draw the second half, I might just play attacking every single game. Might just have to do that. Cleared away the initial cross, but Coman edge of the box. What are they doing here? Nice block. Can anyone do anything? Bouchard, can we counter? 20 seconds. The clock's against us. Can we get a goal? Connolly, we want to win the second half. Bouchard. Oh dear, okay, well that's the end of the half. It's finished 1-1 in the second half. I mean, that's a silver lining, is it not? I'm going to tell the players they were unlucky. We only lost 7-1. Most of them love that team took. Don't know what that says about our team, really. Royer did get a double hat-trick. I did count correctly. Slightly embarrassing that, although, as we saw, he's pretty bloody good. A little bit better than our team. I mean, let's have a look at him again. Let's just admire him. He's 23. He's 23 and he's done that. He's got 20 plus goals the last 2 years. And then he's got 6 goals in 1 game against us. I mean, Norwich had him on loan. He got 17 goals for Norwich. That's the hallmark of quality. Basically as good as Ricky Lambert right there. Right. Well, that's that game done. I mean, that's the hardest game of our group stage done. Unfortunately, that could spell the end of it altogether. I think the next game we'll be back for is the game away against West Ham. I'm not going to do the AC Milan games, I don't think. Just because we played them before in the Europa League and got hammered by them there. So I feel like we've been to the San Siro. We've been there. We've got the postcard. I've got the little fridge magnet saying that we've been to the Milan. So yeah, next time we'll be back, we'll be taking on West Ham. That is going to be at the Olympic Stadium, of course, which has been built in this save. Hopefully we can have a better performance than we've had here. Hopefully you guys will stick around. If you've got a candle at home, please light it tonight. Pray for me. Hope we can get a better game against West Ham. And yeah, that is all from me, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed. Smash the like button if you did. If you've got any comments, leave them down below. And other than that, it is me, Jack, and I'll talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.